A vampire's forbidden love. The meeting. Adrian had roamed the earth for over 300 years, a shadow among the living, cursed with an eternal thirst for blood. Once a nobleman in the 18th century, he had grown weary of his immortal existence, haunted by the beauty of a human life he could no longer claim. That all changed the night he stepped into a dimly lit art gallery in the bustling city. There, among the canvases, stood Elena, a painter in her late 20s with eyes that burned with passion and hands stained with the colors of her soul. Her latest piece, a swirling depiction of a dawn she'd never seen through Adrian's eyes, drew him in. It reminded him of mornings long lost to him, of a humanity he craved. They spoke, her voice warm and alive, and something ignited between them, a spark that defied the cold divide of their natures, the growing bond. Their romance blossomed in quiet moments, late-night talks about art and history, Adrian weaving tales of centuries past while carefully guarding his secret. Elena was strong-willed and independent, a woman who poured her heart into her work, struggling to make her mark in a world that often overlooked her. She saw in Adrian a depth she couldn't quite name, a melancholy that mirrored her own quiet struggles, but love, for Adrian, was a battlefield. The closer they grew, the more his bloodlust clawed at him. He'd sworn off feeding for weeks, determined to be good for her, but it only sharpened his hunger. One night, as they sat on her couch, her warmth pressed against him, his fangs grazed her neck. He recoiled, heart pounding with shame, but Elena's sharp gaze caught the glint of something unnatural. "Who are you really?" she whispered, fear threading through her curiosity. Before he could answer, a shadow slithered across the room. The threat. Victoria emerged from the darkness, a vampire from Adrian's past with eyes like ice and a smile that promised ruin. She'd been turned alongside him centuries ago, a companion he'd rejected in his solitude. Now, she saw Elena as an affront, a human daring to claim what she could not. "Your little pet is lovely, Adrian," she sneered. "But she won't survive the night." Adrian stepped between them, his voice a low growl. "Leave her out of this." Victoria laughed, her fangs gleaming. "You've grown weak for her. Let's see how long that lasts." The fight was swift and brutal. Elena watched, frozen, as Adrian moved with inhuman speed, pinning Victoria to the ground. When it was over, the truth lay bare between them. Adrian turned to Elena, his chest heaving, blood staining his hands. "I'm a monster," he said, voice breaking. "I've been a vampire for 300 years, and I've been searching for a way to undo it ever since." Elena's breath hitched, but she didn't run. "I love you, Adrian. We'll find a way together." The quest. Their search for redemption led them across the city and beyond, chasing whispers of a ritual that could make Adrian human again. They scoured ancient texts in dusty libraries and sought out reclusive vampires who guarded the secret with jealousy. Victoria's minions dogged their steps, her wrath unrelenting, but Adrian and Elena pressed on, their bond a fragile tether in the storm. Yet the danger wasn't only external. Adrian's hunger grew feral, his control fraying with every close call. Once, as they hid in an abandoned warehouse, Elena cut her hand on a shard of glass. The scent of her blood overwhelmed him, and he lunged, only to stop himself inches from her throat, trembling with the effort. "I can't keep doing this," he rasped. "I'll hurt you." "You won't," she insisted, her hand steady on his cheek. "I trust you." But trust couldn't silence the fear gnawing at him. The ritual. At last, in a crumbling crypt beneath the city, they found it, a ritual etched into stone, promising humanity at a devastating cost. To shed his vampirism, Adrian would lose all memories of his immortal life, including every moment with Elena. They sat in the flickering candlelight, the weight of the choice crushing them. Elena traced the lines of his face, memorizing him. "You deserve to be free," she said, tears spilling over. "Even if it means forgetting me." Adrian clutched her hands, his voice raw. "I don't want a life without you." "But you'll have a life," she countered. "A real one, without this curse. I want that for you, even if it breaks my heart." The crypt trembled as Victoria's forces closed in, their time running out. Adrian's enemies wanted him trapped in eternity, a prisoner to his nature. With no escape, he made his choice. The ritual began with a chant, a circle of salt and blood drawn around him. Elena stood outside it, her sobs muffled by the rising wind. Light flared, blinding and fierce, and when it faded, Adrian blinked into the dimness, a man once more, his skin warm, his heart beating. He looked at Elena, confusion clouding his eyes. "Thank you for helping me," he said, polite and distant, no trace of recognition in his voice. She forced a smile, her chest splitting open. "You're welcome. Be happy." The aftermath. Adrian walked into the dawn, a stranger to the woman who'd given him everything. Elena watched him go, whispering, "I love you," into the silence he'd never hear. She'd saved him, but the cost was a wound that would never heal. Years later, she stood in another gallery, staring at a painting that stopped her cold. It was her own work, a dawn she'd painted for him, reimagined through a stranger's brush. Adrian, human and unaware, had become an artist, his soul still echoing hers across the void of forgotten love. She turned away, tears blurring the colors, knowing he was finally free.